Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Get You Painted. I am Alec, and today I have a reoccurring guest with us. It is Joe. Joe, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. I am super excited to chat with you again and paint. Tonight, I am going to be painting some board game pieces from the Monster Hunter International board game, or tabletop game, sorry, tabletop game. And uh, I I'm excited to talk to you about paintbrushes. If you're excited to talk about them, I know it's going to be super boring to some people out there, but I know for you and I who paint minis for relaxation and fun, it's going to be right in our wheelhouse.
100%. And I'm gonna try and make this as fun as possible for those of you that don't think that brushes can be fun because they can be, uh, especially if you use them in the right spot.
That is true. So first off, where do you use a brush and where do you use an airbrush?
All right. So for me, uh, large surface jobs are immediately. I figure out if I can do an airbrush with this.
Mm-hmm.
I use it first off to do priming. So the initial prime of the model, I do pretty much exclusively airbrush now.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the Midwest, and for those that know the Midwest, our climate is not the best for priming miniatures. We get about a 2 to 3 month window where you can power prime through your army, and if your stuff isn't released or in your hands by that point, you're not priming it unless you have an airbrush. So uh, I do a lot of airbrush priming, and then with that, I also do a lot of zenithal treatment with the prime. Because if I'm going to prime one color, it's just as easy to prime two or three,
Mm-hmm.
and get my shading and my layers in initially that way. So for some more detail paint afterwards, but establish the tonation on the model very easily that way. And I don't have a super expensive airbrush. I think my compressor kit was $100, and the airbrush I got was one of the $40 jobs from Amazon, and that thing's been going strong for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So the big expense was the compressor.
Yeah, so do you do a compressor with a tank or do you do a tankless?
I use a compressor with a tank. It is perfect. It's a purpose-built one for airbrush. Um, so I think it was like a hundred, either or $140 a couple years ago. I don't know what they're going for now, but just a kit you could get on eBay, or not eBay, get a kit you could get on Amazon. Other retailers are available unless you got an affiliate link, something like that, Alex, then we can send them to that.
I don't. I probably do need to get an affiliate link so I can start sending people to things. Um, yeah. So I actually they actually broke my airbrush and my compressor when I moved, and I'm looking at getting
No.
different ones. Um, and I was, man, so I had one that was about, well, so it's funny enough, the compressor I had was the one I used in my workshop in the garage for power tools.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it
Yep.
was I want to say it was like 5 or 6 gallons. It was a big one. And what
Yep.
I would do is I would run the compressor outside and fill up the tank completely. And then I would roll it inside, put it under my desk, and then I would just airbrush for the entire time because it was more than what I could possibly use in a single sitting. Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
I was thinking about doing one of the ones where it's like a gallon because I think even a gallon would be more than enough for what I could do. But for me, the
Yeah,
main
that's
thing
not.
is making sure it's not too loud that I'd like wake my kids or my wife.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah. The one I work out of the basement mostly, um, with mine, and so the one that I have is not too loud where it won't, because everybody's up on the second floor. So on the main floor, you can hear it a little bit if the TV's not on, but if the TV's on, you'll never hear it.
Gotcha. No, I kind of in the evenings after I tuck everyone to bed, I have the big main computers that I have like for what I use for streaming and stuff like that is the it's basic what I have for the kids' homeschooling computer as well. So like I put the big fancy computer, and then it happens to also be used for 3D design and streaming and all that other stuff, but also of course for the children. So this is where
Yeah.
I'd be also painting. So I would have to make sure it's quiet because it is on the first floor and everything.
No, it makes
Um,
sense.
but also it gets cold here. Like, so you talked about the Midwest. I'm in upstate New York where it was like negative 46 last year. Um,
Ugh.
I'm I'm looking at getting a wood burning stove and doing better ventilation for the basement. I want to put so we have two
Mhm.
separate different areas of the basement, and to do two different wood burning stoves, and then just doing that to warm up the basement. Because if I can get the basement to be like 50 degrees in the winter, I figure that's like comfortable. I know I just said 50 degrees and comfortable, but it's not like, you know, super, super cold.
No, no, I understand. That is a fine temperature when it's minus 46 outside. If you can
Oh,
get it
yeah.
to hold that, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, it's great with these like old houses that are, stone,
Mhm.
from the quarry that's, 30 miles down the road that it's been, for built forever ago. Um, yeah,
Yep.
it's nice, but yeah, these houses get cold sometimes. I always laugh just because I have the two golden retrievers, and when it gets super super cold, they don't want to go outside, and I'm like, yeah, I know you need to go pee. Please, just go outside. But
Just
back
going
to
right back
painting.
in. Go. Yes,
Yeah.
back to painting.
So yeah, I understand what you're talking about with airbrushing and stuff. Like, I definitely want to have the airbrushing booth for this coming winter so that I can possibly do New Menoth when they come out, because we saw
Mhm.
them talk about, well, I've seen several different conventions now where they've talked about New Menoth, and I need to be able to either because I can't rattle can them inside. Well, I guess I could rattle can them next to the furnace downstairs, um,
That sounds
or
like a recipe for disaster. Don't do that.
yeah, I feel like my wife would kill me because first off, I'm sure it would make the entire house smell like uh, spray paint, and I'm sure it would not be
Yes.
good for the furnace. Um, so that's why I definitely need the spray booth, and I think doing it up here, having like a little 1 gallon tank built into the compressor, and then having the spray booth so I can just do that. Also, I need it for all the terrain I'm doing. Oh, buddy,
Oh yeah.
I found my old notebook the other day from when I used to write um, narratives and scenarios when I used to get bored, and I found that, and I actually shared them with a guy who's now going to be, I think he's taking them and he's going to do a narrative, and I'm helping him get it like up and running so he can do a full. I don't want to spoil it, but he's going to do a full narrative in
Yeah.
his at his convention, and I'm like, I think you're going to like it. I think it's going to be awesome. And then I'm also probably going to help him. I'll see if he needs help with, rocks or sea creatures or ships or terrain and stuff like that. So that's one of my goals. And then I also need to,
Super
oh
cool.
buddy, I have some goals for what I want to do for um, my iCare as well. And then also like yeah, I always things I want to print, and using the airbrush for that is really good too. It's like because you can use either like for terrain, using an airbrush or using a sponge to paint works really really well.
Yes. Yeah, airbrush on terrain is my primary go-to method because I've done a lot of terrain recently with the My Mini Factory that War Machine 3D does.
Hmm.
I've been printing a ton of that, and painting a ton of that. And the airbrush just makes it so simple to do. Get the big parts done, and then you come in and fill in detail with, like you say, with either a sponge or just some light brush work, just to get everything tidied up and tie it all together with some accents.
Yep. Yeah, their SFG is doing a great job with that terrain. I'm so happy with how they're doing it. I'm super excited. Like it's one of those things like I get excited every month to be like, what's coming out next? And I know
Oh,
that
exactly.
like like I know that between the Atlanteans podcast and this podcast, I know I get called a shill, and that's okay. Like I am okay with being known as a War Machine or a Steamforged shill, but I get excited for what I see, and yeah, seeing the terrain, because seeing like a 3D table like that, even with the neoprene on the bottom, it just
Mhm.
it just elevates everything.
Well, one of the things that I've done, and I got this tip from Seth from Boker Brawl,
Mm-hmm.
both the Boker Brawl itself and the podcast. Um, Seth recommends on the new terrain that they're doing when they have the bottom plates, which they've been doing more of. If you print those at like 0.5 millimeter, they basically then become solid, where you can pick them up and not have an issue,
Mm-hmm.
and transport them just fine. But they don't interrupt the placing of a model,
Yep.
and you get to have, instead of having to have neoprene for everything, you just have these bottom plates that are done on the same resin,
Yeah.
um, or FDM, depending on how
I've
you're
heard him
printing
talk
it,
about that.
and it has worked amazing.
I'm gonna have to probably do that the next time I print like trees or something.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm
it
hoping to
works.
have Seth on in the next coming weeks, like a couple of weeks, onto the podcast here to talk about 3D design and stuff, and like digital kit
Excellent.
bashing and stuff. Yeah, because I really think one of the things in the future for like specifically for War Machine, I think it's going to be 3D design, like digital kit bashing and stuff like that. I think that's we're going to see a lot more of that with the My Mini Factory and um, with the models, the terrain. Like I think you've seen where people go and they kit bash uh, the bases into
Yep.
like some of the, and then you can like I know that some people have gone and taken trains or other things. I'm working on a couple pieces that I'm gonna use for IKRPG. Oh dude, man, I'm so excited, so excited.
Very cool
some
stuff.
some of the stuff I can talk about, some of the stuff I can't. I'm readjusting a narrative that I have set up that
Mhm.
I'm super excited about. Like, because I found that, like, when I found that notebook and I was like, I could readjust this narrative to make it work now. So,
It's always great when you go back and find your old creative works. Then you go, wait, I can make this even better now, or I can make it work with the system that we play now.
yeah, yeah, very, very excited about that. All right. So, we know when you use a sponge, when you airbrush, and when you use a brush, or when you make the difference. But what kind of brushes do you use? Like what
So I
size,
use a
what
com
brand?
so I use a combination of ones. I have some very nice sable brushes that I use from a couple different manufacturers. I have the two is kind of my workhorse. I
Okay.
use a two quite a bit, because when I started in this hobby 1,000 years ago at the GW store, they had a standard two sable brush, and that is where I started, and that is where I stayed for
Okay.
a very long time. Um, I've since moved on to other brands, but the two tends to be where my hand goes the most. I do have a couple of very nice ones and .01s
Mm-hmm.
that I've gotten from Winsor Newton. Um, those are very nice. I also I love the Reaper Sables. Um, those have been a brush that I use quite a bit. Most recently, I've been trying out the Pro Acryl brushes. Been
Mm-hmm.
very happy with how those qualities are. And their price point wasn't bad for how well that brush is lasting. But my absolute workhorses
Mm-hmm.
are the assorted synthetic brush mixes Michaels. And I got this tip 1,000 years ago from James Warple. I did one of his painting classes at an Adepticon. This was back when we were at the old Renaissance in Schwamberg. I mean, the old one.
Yeah.
Um, did a painting class with him and his late wife, and they were teaching us how to utilize what had just come out were these GW washes, and he was showing how to paint even more with these GW washes and how to layer them and all of that. And the brushes that he uses the most and used the most, and he told us this in the class, were the throwaway brushes from Michaels and that, because the way that he paints, he is so hard on brushes, it makes no sense for him to use uh, the high end brushes. He just doesn't get the time out of them that he needs because of the way that his technique is.
Okay.
And I have found that I utilize that same process, and unless I'm doing very, very, very fine detail work,
Mm-hmm.
I tend to utilize one of those easy to get giant packs of synthetic brushes that have all manners of shapes and sizes. I like the square ones actually quite a bit from that pack,
Mm-hmm.
and tend to use those quite a bit. Just for whatever reason, they fit better in my hand, and the paint comes off the brush easier for me. Whether I'm doing a dry brush or whether I'm doing a glaze technique, um, those just tend to work very well for me. They're economical. Um, and again, the the most important thing is getting paint on the model. It's not even the quality of the tools that you're using, because a lot of times the simple thing or the cheap thing may actually be the thing that gets it done for you in a better manner than the more expensive thing. So um, if you're starting painting, this is where I would start. I wouldn't invest in a heavy good brush yet. I would start there, see how you work with those, see if you get a shape or a size that you like that's in that pack. And if you do that and like it, go ahead and get yourself the upgraded version, and see
Yeah.
how you like that. Um, but the one thing you should do always, regardless of the quality of your brush, because this will make your brush last longer regardless, is make sure you're cleaning your brush. Brush care is very important. Because again, particularly when you're dealing with your sable brushes or your natural hair brushes, those really do need proper care and cleaning, and even the synthetics do way better if you properly care and clean them.
I was gonna say
Um,
even just rinsing them. So many people I see don't even rinse their brushes,
100%.
but just rinsing your brushes alone will extend the life of your brushes. Like I,
Hundred
I,
percent.
I can show you the difference between brushes that my children have used and caked on, and just because they leave it. Like here's one of my ghost brushes that is a rock hard piece.
Yep.
Or here, one of my army painters where they were a little aggressive with it, and I tried to clean it, and the bristles just kind of flowed out. Versus Like one of the ones that this is one of my ghosts that I actually did take care of. Like, because I have the ones that like I take care of and I don't let my kids use.
Mhm.
And then they're like, "But Dad, I want to use your good brushes." I'm like, here, use these ones again. I'm gonna, Dad's gonna use these." So now like my kids have started to realize that I use like the black handled ones, and I kind of give
Mhm.
them like my old white ones. And they're like, "But Dad, aren't those nicer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love you guys. Please just use the ones you've broken." And eventually,
Yep.
when these ones actually start to show wear and tear, I'll probably give them these. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, I think Ice King, I think he uses what do you call it? I think he uses inexpensive brushes because he's hard on his brushes.
Yep. Yep. He's another paint eater that uses the more inexpensive brushes for a lot of his work. And then he does have some finer brushes for the fine detail stuff.
Yeah,
But the workhorse brushes are the for lack of a better term, more disposable type.
yeah, it's true though. Like you just got to know what you do. Like I go
Yep.
through dry brushes. I am very aggressive with my dry brushes, but I also like I get dog hair on my things. My dry brushes, since I do dry brushing by hand, my dry
Mm-hmm.
brushes get worn out because I don't do a zenithal highlight. So I am
Yep.
very aggressive with my dry brushes. But I know that, and I buy them in bulk, and
There
I
you
know
go.
that I'm gonna go through them, and I do take care of them. I do clean them. They're they still bump back, but because of how hard I push and I really beat the tar out of them, like they start like this, and then after a while they get like this. I mean, it's
Uh, it
reality.
just it just shows that you're using your brushes, which is way better than not using your brushes.
I mean, that's
Which
true.
means
I mean, I do paint a lot. I want to say like I don't just paint infrequently. I put a lot of paint on models. I
yep.
that is like the joke of the channel. Let's get you painted. Like let's crush through. Um Man, I like one of my goals had been to paint a whole Gravedigger army, and then the move and the army getting trashed by the movers, and then I never like bought replacements. I had like a few that I hand carried with me on the move, and I was like talking to my wife. I was like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's buy the whole replacement," and she's like, "How about you just wait till um the your new Menoth comes out and you just spend the money on that instead of buying all new Gravediggers and all new Menoth." And I was like, okay, counter offer. How about I buy all new Menoth and I buy 30 kilograms of filament and I print Grimkin, Infernals, and Crucible Guard.
There you go.
So, marriage, it's like that give and take back and forth.
That is what it is all about. And I'm very much enjoying printing up my Grimkin army.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be my next big project after I get some smaller stuff done. I've got some starters. I've got to paint up kindly from SFG. So we get those up and see those on the channel soon.
Oh, dude, I want to paint up some Fane of Nero. Those look like so much fun.
Yep,
Those Warbies, oh, those look so good. With that armor on them.
100%. Yeah,
Like,
I am very excited for that box to come in. I have no desire to play it. I have no desire to play the army, but I want to paint the army.
oh, so I want to throw those at my players in Iron Kingdoms. Like
Oh yeah, that would be awesome to fight.
like I want to take my players and they're in the t- in they go from the city to the dungeons to the Underdark. Like to the
Yeah.
Undercity, to the actual like Underdark, which is
Yep.
under the city, like the caverns under the
They,
Undercity. And they're just like,
yep.
oh my God, what is going on here? And I'm like, oh, just wait. They're hunting you in echolocation and scent. Oh, you think you need light? They don't care about light. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
can't
you could do a
wait.
whole like Predator game. Oh, that'd be
Oh,
so cool.
right?
Or the,
Right? It's
yeah, like Predator or Alien. You just make like Alien.
I was thinking
Oh, that would be
uh
sweet.
Pitch Black
Even better.
and
Oh yeah.
like Pitch Black, like the first one, and then the last Chronicles of Riddick one,
Hmm.
the one like the most recent one, and um yeah, just doing it as like a straight horror because like I've taken my players through um the what do you call it, the Strange Light, and that was like it was
Yep.
fun. They had fun, like, but doing like a straight horror, but like horror with weapons. Like you have warjacks, you have this, but then you're gonna run out of bullets. Your steam jack is gonna need maintenance. Your steam jack's gonna run out of power and water and coal, and good luck getting a time because you're like, to rest. Where are you like how are you gonna rest? Because your enemies aren't
Yep.
going to. Oh yeah, 100%. I can't wait. Like
And that
one of the things that I've written up. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Descent, about the like the six female, I think it's maybe eight female cavers that goes in. It was like the early 2000s, like 2005,
yeah.
2006. That horror one. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Imagine that, but in Iron Kingdoms.
That would be cool.
That
And
yeah.
the great thing is you can mechanize sort of the fear in that way, because you have the anxiety of running out of supply and running out of space. You're completely unrested. You're just always on alert. Every step you take could be your last because the vampires might find you.
Yep. It'd be kind of like that thing within like in zombie movies. Do you go for the quiet kill? Do you try to bypass them? Or do
Hmm.
you go loud and try to blow through? What is the best thing? Because good luck. Because there's no good answer. There's just less bad answers.
Yes.
And that's what I like doing. Because like my D&D group, they are not like newbies. Like they're
Yep.
all level 12 now. Like they've been around for a while. And so like having them have to deal with this is something that like, but then I don't actually technically know the rules. I'm gonna have to try to reach
Hmm.
out to like Matt or Sherwin and be like, "Hey, can you give me a suggestion? Like, is this approximately where you guys would take this?" Uh, because this is where I'm thinking. But yeah, I can't wait because that's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, certainly, especially because you've got a very experienced group. When you've got a good group, it's always great when you can throw a new wrinkle at them.
Yeah. Well, they've actually been helping me with the characters to come up with for um the Nova IKRPG. So I'm
Hmm.
pre-making characters for because I'm running the
Nice,
IKRPG, and they've been
excellent.
helping me to come up with like basically 10 different characters. And so people are going to be able to come up with these characters and, choose, or like I
Hmm.
will give them like probably about a week before. I'll have to see exactly when, but between a week to 2 weeks before, give them the like I don't know exactly when they want it, but an idea of, what because it's going to be like level 5. and so people could
Yep.
take the from the IKRPG books, like not from the straight D&D, but from the IKRPG books, and make a level 5 character. Or if you don't want to, you step up to the table and I have an IKRPG character to hand you. But like one of the characters I have is a trencher, who is a two-time divorced dad who is
Nice.
adventuring to pay the bills to fight in court against his ex-wife. And
That is so good.
that's why he adventures. And he's still trying to be home enough to like see them. And it was like one of my players suggested this. I was like, holy cow. And then I was like, have we reaching like or like are we a little too close to home here? Like not that I know it's not that it's him, but like
Right.
are are is did someone tell you something? Are you giving me information I shouldn't know about like stuff? But yeah, like that's how we're making one of the characters, and it's gonna be it just gives the character, for someone to just to step up to a table and I go, here's a character sheet, here's one, a one page with your backstory. Go have fun. And they can take it and do what they want. But I think a
Yep.
lot of people who are going to step up are going to be like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. It's not like, oh, my wife and something was murdered. It's like, oh, no, I did separate from the military, but, you know, to try to save my marriage, but that didn't work. And now I'm trying to see my kids, and yeah, I'm just like, ooh. And then I have uh, one character who, the alchemist, is this was another one. So she is um, super prim and proper. Like she is
Mm.
super smart. Never been in like violence or combat areas. So she's not used to dealing with like anything less than like 4-star accommodations, food, drink,
Okay.
things like that. So for her, trying to, you know, rough it is it would be like a 1-star, not necessarily even being out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. But yeah, so I
I
have
like
I have
that.
some of these. Go ahead.
No, I said I like that. I love when you can come up with really interesting character hooks on your pre-mades that aren't like the cookie cutter things. Like the two-time divorcee who's out adventuring to pay child support uh, is just a really cool hook. That would be a fun character to play, like
Absolutely. Like
regardless of setting.
trying to be a good dad, trying to pay child support, trying to win legal battles, and still having to manage, the stupid murder hobos in his party. Yeah, that's
What I can't wait for is the inevitable scene in the Underdark where the process server comes in and finds him for the look that his ex-wife is throwing at him.
uh no, I was thinking that
He,
he's gonna get when
he
he
just
gets
turns a
out of
corner and
it.
then the process server's there.
Oh, no, I thought like when he finally gets out and he's getting a summons for a judgment against him for a failure to appear because they
Oh,
couldn't
beautiful.
find him because he was like stuck in the Underdark, and he's just like, I just saved the world. And they're like, well, yeah, but you didn't show up in court. And he's like, I
Squirt.
saved the world. And they're like,
The
yeah, but you didn't show
world.
up. And they're like, yeah, but the judge said you didn't show up. And he's like, but the world. And they're like, yeah, but you didn't. And it's like, okay, fine. Yep, I'll be in court. Just give me the new date. Thank you. Yep. Because like
So
everyone
good.
has like, oh, criminal background or this or that. So I'm trying to come up with like interesting player hooks. Oh.
No, those are always super fun. Um,
Oh, one of the other ones I have. So it's the Gun Mage Teacher. So it's a Gun Mage Teacher.
mhm,
Never was deployed in the previous war because he was such a good teacher and instructor at the I forgot what the Gun Mage College is for Insignar. I have it
yeah,
written down. They never let him leave the training facility, so he never got deployed. And he had friends that went and deployed. He had students that went and deployed and died. He had friends like, so he's dealing with survivor's guilt. So he's
yep,
always overcompensating because he never, like, he was basically the war virgin and he's always
yep.
trying to like overdo it. That's my the gun mage we have that I have written out.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, another very, very solid character hook.
Yeah. I've really worked on these to change it up and because like I said, I didn't want just the oh I'm a swashbuckler, I'm a rogue, I'm the dread pirate, whatever. Yeah, it's fun. The the Morrowind priest is from Signar, and actively has been a Morrowind priest since before, like he is like old.
Hmm.
Before the Signarian Caspia split. Like he was like 14 at the time, and has always been a faithful member of the Signarian military, or not military, but like of the Signarian country, but has always also
Yep.
been a faithful member of the Mennonite Church. And his argument has always been, look, you can be a Morrowind church member and a Signarian. I'm a Mennonite and in Signar, and I have never done anything to show, ill service. He's like, I don't cast fire. He's like, I heal people. That's what I do. And that like
Hmm.
but he's the compassionate Mennonite, which
I like it.
is yeah, like so yeah, I have really fun. Like I do have like generic um boring stuff because I figured there might be someone who just wants to be a um a barbarian fellblade. Like yeah, there might be like dude
Yep.
just wants but I think if people look over the other characters, they're not going to want to pick that. They're going to want to pick something fun. They're not going to want to pick something boring.
Yep. And I think having a couple of vanilla ones in there is nothing wrong with it because some people like vanilla.
Hmm.
But it also having vanilla lets you know what the spice is, where there's spice. So
Yes.
it's a good.
Well, also, I figure that way is going to help where I can, like, when I hand all these character sheets out, when people like step up to the table, depending on what people pull, I can also figure out what people want to play,
Yes.
like, or how things want to play. Because it's one of those things like when you're DMing and people are, you really do need to read the room and read how to play because you don't want someone to go to a convention, pay to show up, and also then pay to play and have a bad experience. I want everyone to have a good
Exactly.
experience, you know. So I by giving them these options and I can see I'm like, okay, yep, I like if need be, I can retool what we're gonna do based on talking to the players and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think my only worry, which I've dealt with before, but like, is the person who wants to be, I don't know if you've ever run into it, like the guy who was like, I need to be the center of attention the whole time.
Yep.
And sometimes those are a little bit difficult to deal with, but I know how I've dealt with them before. It's just gonna be interesting dealing that potentially at a convention where you're like, hey man, like I'm gonna treat everyone like an adult. That's the reality of the situation. They
Yep.
and I don't think I'm
That's
gonna have
that's
any
the
problem.
biggest thing is. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think I'll have any problem as long as I talk to everyone as an adult. I lay it out before we ever start. Like this is your code of conduct. I expect you all to act like an adult. You know, no, like don't have your cell phone to be like texting or doing everything else. Like don't metagame. Like we are all here to have a good time and to, you know, do it. And just remember that it's not like one person running the game. It's, you know, doing it. Though I do like, this is one of the things I've enjoyed. If there's no one wants to necessarily be the party leader, I have them roll a dice, and whoever rolls the lowest
Very
has to be the
nice.
party leader.
Very cool.
All right, so brushes. So I said I like so you said you like the cheap ones, and that I definitely think
Yep.
that's a good thing to working your way up. Do you have a pie in the sky if money was no option and you could just blow money on brushes? Do you have brushes you've either heard of that are amazing or brushes that you've used once or twice, maybe borrowed from someone or seen at a convention that you would have like if you could use for forever with price being no option, replaceability being no problem that you would go with?
Huh. That is a good question. I think for me right now, I would be inclined to get the Pro Acryls. I have really enjoyed how those feel and work and how the paint flows from them. Um, it's a very nicely curated line.
Okay.
Um, money is no object. However, they are pretty reasonably priced,
Mm-hmm.
even as it stands. So, for me, that's kind of where my headspace would be at if I wanted to dedicate to a singular brand um, at this point. But I know from the way that I work and the way uh, that I am heavy on equipment, I would still be utilizing the big brush packs for a lot of the grunt work that I do from a painting perspective.
Okay.
And then the fine detail stuff would probably all be the Pro Acryl.
I mean, you know yourself, so that is a key. I figured I'd ask just in case. I didn't know
Yeah.
if you had heard of like some German or Japanese brush that was, you know, super fancy and
No, I tend to be very pragmatic in how I go about painting in that. Now, paint is where I get very bougie.
uh
Um, that is I've got two brands that I absolutely love right now, and a couple that I use for very specific pieces. Um, and they're P3 and Acryl. Those are my two favorites right now in the market.
I do
Um,
love
both
both of those brands. Did you get the
the
the second run of P2s or P3s?
I am on that, but I have not received my. Well, nobody's received them yet because they're still processing. I think it's going to be another 6 months. But yeah, I was in on the first and then on the second. So I think I've got a couple more colors there. Thankfully, locally we have a couple of stores that are stocking P3 and have a pretty good stock of it. So I've gone in and bought more of it while there. But I've been really enjoying the P3. the P3 paints. I'm doing some Kithgard, and the Kithgard have all been in just the P3, and most of those have just been done with the starter box. Just because I wanted to see what I could do with just the starter paints,
Yeah. No, the
and I
P3
really like that
is good.
result.
I very much enjoy them. I think they have really good coverage. I was very impressed with what Steamforge did with the redesign of them. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was worried. I was worried it wasn't going to do well, but it did so well. Well,
I
I think
figured as
we've
long
been
as they made the paint, as long as they could get the paint 98% close to what it used to be, they'd be fine. Because that was one of my P3 has been a favorite of mine forever since
yeah.
I was introduced to them. Coal black is a miracle color and should be protected at all costs.
Uh
Um, by
Sanguine Base. Sanguine Base is chef's kiss.
yes, also um, one of the best red and orange bases you can put on a model.
Yes. I will agree with that. That is, and I don't even say that as a Metal player. Like I use that in other like color schemes and other things too. I just like that color.
I still use the recommended the studio paint scheme for men off white most of the time when I do white. Period.
Really?
That was in the original Mark II rulebook. Um, the big one with all the hobby
Hmm.
bits. Yeah, that that white mix has stood the test of time for me on anything that's heavy fabric.
Yeah, it really does. Well, I think we're going to call it an episode. Thank you so much for coming on out. I'm so happy you're the first time we've had a second guest come back or a guest come back for a second time. I'm hoping you continue to come back every few months. I really do appreciate it. You've helped us grow the channel. Thank you for everyone out there. Hopefully, you got to enjoy us chatting about, you know, different things, including brushes and paints and all that good stuff. Um, Joe, where can they find you?
You can find me on the YouTube at Tyrants on the Field, and you can find me on Spotify also at Tyrants on the Field.
Which are both amazing. His podcast is awesome. But thank you everyone for coming out. Again, I am Alec of Let's Get You Painted, and just remember, guys, get some paint on those models and have fun. Thank you. Bye.